So you mentioned the BBI earlier,
Mm.
and I feel like we've reached the part of the show where we get to what I call the gem drop.
Mm.
So in the gem drop, I like to reward people that reach this far within the episode with actual knowledge. So if somebody wanted to get started in this today, what are some steps? Can you give them some steps as if you were teaching them as if they were in the BBI? How would their first few months go working with you?
So I have the BBI, which can teach you all the ins and outs of acquiring a business, scaling a business, and using leverage buyout techniques to acquire it with no money out of your pocket. I also have another company called Capital Bees Finance. Capital Bees Finance, we actually do it for people. Way more expensive. And I believe in teaching a man and a woman to fish rather than me doing it for them.
Yeah.
But that is that opportunity too, because I know how to mow my own lawn, but I still hire the landscapers to come. I don't want to do it myself, right? So you have those options. Now, gem drop wise, in terms of really the things that you need to focus on and the things that I would have you focusing on if you're learning it in the BBI, I got these 4 pillars of success. And these 4 pillars when I first kind of put this together, I was like, man, it sounds like fluff. It sounds like what Tony Robbins be talking about when I didn't want to hear it from Tony Robbins, but it is absolutely necessary. Networking. You have to develop your networking skills. You have to, communicate with people, but it's not just about who you know, it's who knows you. And, I tell the joke that I know Elon Musk, for example, right? But he don't know me, so it don't matter, right? It's like, it ain't a real thing. But when you get into these rooms, you got to be remembered, right? So networking is extremely important. Second pillar of success is that you got to leave some people behind. This is when people say, surround yourself with 5 millionaires, you might become the 6th, blah, blah, blah. I'm saying actively leave some people out of your life. Not fully. Family members, friends, I love them to death and all, but we ain't on the same journey. We ain't on the same path. So I got to actively leave you behind. I'm going to show you how to climb that mountain, where to step, but I'm not going to tie you to my waist and carry you up. You got to step and make the moves yourself. Third pillar of success is that you got to buy seats at tables. Stop going to people, stop going to mentors and being like, hey, can I pick your brain? They hate that. We hate that. Stop talking about, hey, can I take you to lunch and pick your brain? How many people ask me to go to lunch? I can't eat that much. And during that hour that you have me at lunch, picking my brain and getting, full mentorship that normally people paying $20,000 to get for that 1 hour, I could have been doing a business deal during that time and made money rather than you sucking the life out of me. Right. So be prepared to buy seats to buy seats at tables. But then when you're at these tables and you're networking while you're there and you left some people behind, you should also build your own table. Find other people, like-minded people. Don't always worry about the speaker or the mentor. Find the people sitting next to you and build a table with them, and y'all become the next big things, the next mentors overall. So that became my 4 pillars of success, coupled with a foundation of financial literacy and a roof of always seeking knowledge, right? But the most important thing that's related to these pillars of success that you're going to do as soon as you start working with me is you're going to get your reps in, right? I go to the gym every day, every weekday, and you can't build muscle if you don't get your reps in. Well, the muscle you need to build is your networking muscles, right? You need to be able, if you're not comfortable speaking with people, then yeah, this ain't going to work for you. Because yes, there's financials to look at. Yes, there's lawyers to look at the legal due diligence. But the most important thing when it comes to business acquisitions is, can you have a conversation with somebody and build rapport with them? Can you get past the broker because you built a good rapport with them and you told them your story and then you show that you have the ability to get this done? Then they say, okay, fine, let's introduce you to the seller. Can you connect with that seller to the point that the sellers are going to be like, yo, I need him or her to be the one to take over my business. I love this guy or lady. I want them to take over my business. Every single deal that I've been in, the seller felt that way about me, right? Because I built a rapport with them. I can have a conversation with them, all right? So that's going to be the most important thing, is going to put in your reps. You're going to contact brokers. You're going to speak to more. This is the only business. One of my students said this, and I may mistake how they said it, but this is the only business strategy where you win from increasing your losing ratio. Something like that, he said. And I may have it off a little bit. But what he meant is, you got to speak to, when I was in high school, me and the boys, my friends, we go to the mall and all of us trying to kick it to girls and trying to get numbers. There was no phones back then. So we had a pen in our pocket with a piece of paper. So he's like, yo, see who can get the most numbers. And, these girls walk by and we like, yo, oh my God, she's fine as hell, man, blah, blah. But we was afraid to talk to her. And then we all regret it after, right? So eventually I got to this point where I was like, man, I ain't letting nothing slip by no more. The worst they gonna say is no. So I speak to 100 girls and try to get a number and end up with 4. Whatever. Whereas my friends spoke to 2 and they got 1. And I'm like, yo, I got more because I spoke to more and I'm willing to speak to more. So that's the same thing you're going to do if you're working with me. You're going to contact some brokers. You're going to search for deals. Establish your acquisition criteria. Go out there and start finding options. Speaking to some of these brokers and sellers, even if you don't think that's the deal you really want, because you're just getting your reps in so that you get used to speaking, so they get used to telling your story, controlling the narrative. So now when you find the deal that you really want, you feel comfortable and you're going to make it happen, right? That's the first step for everything. That's what we would do in the beginning. The rest is easy, man. The rest is just knowing how to stack the deal, who you're going to get to do your financial due diligence, your legal due diligence, because you don't need to do it yourself. Get the lawyers, get the accounting team. And then it's all about taking over and running the business.